Welcome to School of Thumb, the series that asks plant experts to solve your common garden guesswork. We're pruning back gardening to its core and getting you the answers you've been asking across Australia. This episode we have 3 experts from Victoria who've got the goods when it comes to greenery. Jack, the flowering fanatic. Steve, the indoor plant professional. And Michael, the green space specialist. This episode we have top tips for indoor plant parents to help your greenery go from surviving to thriving. Welcome, experts. This episode we visit Hannah, who has a horde of houseplants in her Melbourne home and needs some tips to keep them happy. Should we take a peek?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, Hannah, how long have you been a houseplant person?
I definitely haven't always been a houseplant person, but in lockdown I committed to this beautiful house and wanting to fill it with plants.
Doesn't her place look homely because of all the greenery?
Yeah.
So cozy.
So, how would you rate yourself out of 10?
I reckon maybe a 6, maybe 6.5.
I think you're closer to a 7, maybe even an 8 than you realise.
I'm an 8, guys, and I just didn't know.
She looks so happy. She just really loves her plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pride.
If you've got a plant that's not looking happy where it is, what's your strategy?
Because we live in a really dark house, and so it is hard to know which plant will be happy in what area. So I try to move them around the house and let them rotate.
Bit of a dark spot there.
No light can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to water them less or water them more and try and work out that balance. I fertilise the plants, but I'm not so sure on how to do that either.
Good to give them some food, but you'd like some guidance on that.
Absolutely. I have no idea how much food to give them or when or how.
Also, you are a musician. You haven't thought to try like singing to them? Or...
I should write some specific songs for each plant, maybe, like name the plant and write a song called, Marie over here.
Who wouldn't thrive under that sort of love and attention?
They can feel my love through song.
So, what question do you want to ask our experts?
I would love to know how I can love my plants better and make them thrive, because I do think that a lot of them are happy, but I don't think I know how to make them fully succeed in their life.
So, what does Hannah need to do to become a 10 out of 10 indoor plant parent? What are your tips? What is she doing right?
She's doing so much right. There's so much TLC. She really loves her plants. She's paying a lot of attention to them. You can see a lot of TLC happening there.
When it comes to watering and fertilising, what are people doing wrong?
Generally, most people overwater and under-fertilise.
I think having a really good saturating water really benefits indoor plants, don't you find, instead of those little infrequent waters?
Yeah. We might have a hot day or a cold day and it evaporates differently. So you've really got to engage and you've really got to put your finger in. And if you feel the moisture in it, well then you're doing something right. But if it's dry, then it might look unhappy.
Yeah. Generally, a plant will droop a little bit if it's too dry, before it starts getting markings on the leaf. So
Yeah.
Light's a big factor. The conditions that it's going to be exposed to. And sometimes that might change from summer to winter, but just don't be shy to move them around and try different areas and see what works best for them.
I feel like we've got to address the big one. Hannah said, I don't understand fertiliser.
Yeah.
Help us understand fertiliser.
okay.
I think it's about following application instructions. So any kind of fertiliser you've got, it's got clear application instructions.
But when you go to the shop, there's 1,000 to choose from. So which one do you choose?
Yeah.
Yes.
So for indoor plants, because we're not really growing for flowers, we really want to grow for nice green foliage. You want something that's high in nitrogen. And that will be, you'll see in the shops, it'll be indoor plant food.
I don't know why we're complicating it so much.
Yeah.
You use indoor plant food for your indoor plants, follow the instructions. It is actually quite straightforward.
Absolutely.
Jack, you're an indoor plant connoisseur. What are 3 absolute classics for people to try?
There are so many plants to choose from, but 3 that I really like to start with is monsteras with their big glossy leaves, Zanzibar gems, they're so resilient, and the beautiful trailing devil's ivy.
Gorgeous choices. All right, Steve, you are our houseplant specialist. Let's go to the workbench. I'm gonna get you to show me how you give a bit of tender loving care to your plants. You ready?
Absolutely.
Smells like gardening. Smells like gardening at the bench right now. What are you going to fertilise for us?
We are fertilising some indoor plants for today. Now, there's many, many different types of fertiliser, but I think with the indoor plants, you probably want to keep away from the really organic ones that might make your house smell like fish. So I've got some slow release fertiliser here and some liquid fertiliser. This one here is one I got. He's got a bit of yellow happening in there. Even in the new growth, there's just yellow tinges. So he's doing all right, but he could be better. So he just needs a bit of food.
So we can re-green that plant.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I like to put it underneath the surface of the soil because, chuck him in there.
Great.
That way, it's not a distraction or a temptation for kids or pets or anything like that.
Okay, right.
And it just looks a bit nicer. So every time this plant gets water, that fertiliser is just going to release into the soil. So just a little bit each time.
So each watering pulls a little bit of the nutrient out, but it sits there for months and months and
That's
months.
right.
Okay, great.
So, and you'll notice a difference in a week or two.
I love it. For our next lesson on School of Thumb, we talk to Liam. He's keen to squeeze a bit more from his beloved citrus. In the meantime, don't forget to visit us on our socials and keep an eye on your local nursery. They could be running a School of Thumb forum on your doorstep. Till next time, happy growing, Australia.